U.S. homeless shelters are struggling to accommodate the growing number of poor Americans. The face of the average tenant, though, has certainly been changing over the past few years. And sometimes even a full-time job doesn't mean that you can afford a place to live. RT's Marina Portnaya filed the story.
The working poor have become among America's fastest-growing demographic. Charmaine works full-time as a telephone data collector.
I make about $250 a week, depending on the hours that I work.
On many days, the 38-year-old eats a free dinner at the New York City Rescue Mission before heading to the place she's called home for the past 5 years.
I come here to eat at the mission, then jump on the train, get back to the shelter for curfew at 8 o'clock. If you don't make it back to the shelter at 8 o'clock, they've already packed up your clothes.
A record high of 50,000 people currently occupy New York City's shelters. Of those living in them, city figures show 28% of families and 16% of adults are employed.
The jobs are not paying you what they should be paying you, first of all. And the prices are just up on everything. You know, it's just not affordable at all.
In 2011, 46% of New Yorkers were considered either poor or almost poor. The income gap in America's richest city is comparable to those of some sub-Saharan African countries.
We see people coming somewhat maybe embarrassed, ashamed. They're hardworking. They hate to have to ask for a handout, but at the end of the day, if you can't put food on the table for your family, what are you going to do?
In an effort to have supply meet demand, the New York City Rescue Mission recently began renovations to expand its space from 3 floors to 6. Next year, twice the amount of people will be fed and twice the amount of beds will be provided to the hungry and homeless, many of whom are working Americans.
Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has spent 3 decades promoting and building affordable homes. He says America's income inequality is causing members of today's middle class to resemble those who lived in poverty when he was in office in the late 70s.
Compared to when I left the White House, the difference is twice as great as it was between the richest people and the poorest people.
Charmaine was once a freelance makeup artist for Revlon and managed a cosmetic store. Life changed following the financial crisis of 2008 when she lost her job. So when she hears today U.S. officials brag about an economic recovery,
They're saying it, but they don't really take a look at it because it's not true. I see more people struggling out here, and they're working, and they're on welfare, and they still can't make it.
leaving millions struggling to find opportunity in the land that always promised it. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York.